Alright, today we are going to make pizza. We're going to need only a few ingredients: flour, water, instant dry yeast, olive oil, and salt. For the flour, we want to use a high protein flour. We're using here today King Arthur flour, the unbleached bread flour. That's about the highest that you can get in normal grocery stores. Ideally, if you can find it, the King Arthur Sir Lancelot flour would theoretically be even better, but this will do fine for today. We're going to need to measure it out. You're going to need 344 grams of flour and 216 grams of water. We'll put the water in the mixing bowl. Then we'll add the salt. We want just over a teaspoon of salt. The heaping teaspoon of salt, basically. So we'll dump that in, mix it up just a little to dissolve it. And then we want to mix our yeast into the flour. This recipe calls for 1/5 of a teaspoon of yeast. So it's about 80% of a 1/4 teaspoon measure. And we're just going to put, so we'll get a little scoop here. We'll just put it right, sprinkle it on top of the flour, and mix it in a little bit. Now you'll notice I have the dough hook attachment on the KitchenAid mixer. We're going to just add the flour here. Just dump it all in. And then we want to start mixing this. We'll do it on stir. You definitely don't want to go higher than 2. That's all the dough hook is rated for, but we'll start on stir. This is going to take a while. I'm just going to let it be. The dough hook has started to pick up some of the dough. I'm going to add the oil now. It calls for 3/4 teaspoons of oil. It's not a whole lot. Now I'm going to turn the mixer back on. We're going to let it mix until it forms a nice dough ball, and then we're going to let it mix about 5 minutes. So it's been about 5 minutes of kneading. So we'll take the dough out now and we'll take a look at it. We'll see that the dough has kind of a nice texture. It's soft, smooth, well mixed together. It's not super stretchy, but it's got a good stretch to it. We're going to let the time basically do the rest of the work. So we're going to take the dough ball we have now. We're going to put it in some sort of container, such as a Ziploc bag. Well, first we should cover the temperature. We're targeting our temperature as the dough, targeting the temperature of the dough after it comes out of the mixer to be around 75 degrees. Certainly not more than 80. You can do that basically by starting with all of your ingredients at room temperature, the water, the flour, and then the room temperature itself. And depending on what the temperature of your room is, that should get you in the right range. The kneading will warm up the dough. Mine seems to be reading about 80. That should be fine. We're not leaving it out at room temperature for very long anyways. We're going to take the dough, I'm going to put it in a Ziploc bag. And then we're just going to put it in the refrigerator for at least 2 days. So I'll see you again in a few days.